When I was 28, the most amazing thing happened to me. I became a mom. I thought the changes I was going through would stop once the baby was born.
Oh, hey, where's Annabeth?
Ugh, Mom's watching her downstairs so I can finally take a shower. Really looking forward to this.
Your mom's here? You think you're becoming a little too dependent on her?
But I was wrong.
What happened?
I don't know, we were just talking and he said something stupid, so I glared at him.
Your powers have awoken. Southern moms are special. We have abilities that can't be explained. I can help you hone those abilities.
I don't understand. I can't see anything. How am I supposed to keep an eye on Annabeth if I can't see anything?
Use your other eyes.
My other eyes? I saw you doing that.
The eyes in the back of your head.
Something amazing is happening to me. I have all these new thoughts and feelings.
You're no longer one person. You're many. You're a doctor, a teacher, a chef, a coach. You'll see things in ways you haven't before.
Hey, what's wrong?
This isn't enough food. I need to make more food.
And unleash your true power. Within you lies a great force. We call it the look. It is a glare with power to strike unimaginable fear in almost anyone.
Almost.
Well, anyone except me, sweetie. Now, why should these children behave?
Because I'm your mother. And I said so.
There's one thing I don't understand. Now that I'm a mom, what happens to you?
Oh, I've developed special powers of my own. Candy?
No, that would spoil our supper.
Just try and stop me.
Well, happy Mother's Day, everyone. It helps if I turn that on. Happy Mother's Day. We're so glad that you are here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to celebrate moms. We're going to celebrate all women today. There's a lot of truth. I think some people were elbowing each other on some of that. There's things that we want to do today to celebrate moms, but we also want to recognize that today is one of those days where we can have just the full gamut of emotions. It's a day of joy, for sure, as we celebrate moms. But for some people, it's a day of pain because your mom wasn't there for you. Your mom was someone who hurt you. And so we have to recognize that as well. For some people, it's a day of grief because you have lost your mom at some point along the way, whether it's recently or a long time ago. And so we want to recognize that. We also want you to know that whatever you're feeling today, God sees you, for sure. We also hope that you'll take time to remember maybe the single moms in your life. Maybe don't get the break today that the married moms get. So if you have someone in your life who's a single mom, maybe ask yourself how you can bless them today, how you can give them just a little reprieve today. Because moms do a whole lot. They do way more than they give themselves credit for, and way more than the world really recognizes. And so we're very grateful for all you do. In fact, there was a survey that was done recently. And the survey said, wanted to know what moms really wanted for Mother's Day, what would be the ideal gift. And maybe you're thinking something like, flowers or candy or jewelry, but they had different choices to choose from. And the choices were striking. At least 44% said they just love to be able to watch something on TV that they wanted to see. 42% would love to just be able to read a book today. 30% would love to just engage in a hobby that they enjoy today. And I love this one. 10% would love to be able to just go to the bathroom alone. What they're looking for, besides like these tangible gifts that we can give, by the way, if it's a surprise to you that it's Mother's Day, guys, you can make an excuse and go to the bathroom. There is a Walmart just down the street. But what moms are really looking for, and what we all are really looking for, is a little bit of me time. A little bit of time to recharge. A little bit of time to refresh. A little bit of time for prayer, for just solitude, just time to think. And we don't often get that, and moms especially don't often get that. But it's actually biblical. Jesus leads by example in this. He often would go out alone. We've been reading the whole Holy Bible in a year, and we've been through all the Gospels, and you can just see it one after another in Jesus' time here in his ministry on earth. He stopped. He went and was alone. He found time of solitude. He found time to pray. Found time to get away and to rejuvenate, because that's what we all need. And that's why we've been really talking about this book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, where we have a study. Again, we're taking a break tonight, but it'll be back again next week. It's a book by John Mark Comer. It's a book about getting into God's timing. We all need a break. We weren't designed to just go, work, die. That's not what we're designed to do. We're designed to work from our rest, not rest from our work. And so making that time to stop and to rest, to rejuvenate, it matters. My wife is here for the 8 o'clock service. We're giving her kind of some time to herself today. So she's going to go have a manicure and a pedicure and a massage and all the things. Like, she needs that time to just refresh. And so we're going to make that happen for her. And so find those ways that you can allow the women in your life to get a break today. But not just today. It's not just one day a year. Let's make sure they get it throughout the year as well. See, Jesus tells us that if you come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, I will give you rest. You can take my yoke upon you and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear and the burden I give is light. And it's great that Jesus gives us an easy yoke and that his burden is light. But apparently the world hasn't got the message yet. And so there's a whole bunch of other things that get put on particularly women. And it wants to make us just, pull our hair out, right? Like, it is amazing how much you all go through. Doing the same job for like 80% of the pay, doing all of the cleaning, doing all of the caring for the family, doing all the things that others take for granted. And so we want to thank you and recognize you for all you do. And guys, we want to step our game up a little bit too, to remember that we're partners in all this. The great theologian Jeff Foxworthy put it this way. He said, I'm convinced that whatever cleaning goes on the planet, women do 90% of it. But see, women are not as proud of their 99% as men are of their 1%. We got to get that back in balance a little bit, because you guys put up with a lot of stuff. I remember my wife and the things that she has been through, the horror stories, the war stories. Do you remember 2009? Going back a little ways. Do you remember that in 2009 there was a shortage of vaccines for the flu, the H1N1? And so they couldn't get them in all places. So you could go down to the state fair and you could get in this line. This is a line at the state fair to get the flu shot. And my wife took our 1-year-old Joel with her to go down there. And while she was there waiting in this long line for hours, Joel had an absolute blowout all the way up the back, all the way down the leg. And you're in this like crowd, right? Like, what do? She's got to clean it. She's got to clean her son up in the midst of this mess, in the midst of this crowd. And she gets him clean. She gets new clothes on, bags everything up, puts him back in the stroller, all is well. And he proceeds to do it again, all over the place. And she's like, I just want to get out of here. I just want to get through this. It's almost like, women, what we need is for musicians to just like follow you around all day and just sing about the stuff that you have to go through. Now, luckily for us, there's this family on YouTube, the Holderness family, and they've done just that. So I took some different clips of theirs and pieced them together to give you an idea of what your day can feel like, what you might experience if some musicians were to follow you around. And guys, this is not just for the ladies. And kids, this is not just for the ladies. There's some stuff in there for you too. Guys in particular, I want you to pay attention to the very end of this video, because there's something in there for you. And I'm not going to ruin it, but I mean, Boys to Men is the one singing the song, so you may want to pay attention. Take a look.
Yeah, I heard you cry loud, 'cause we're going out of town, and you told your child to pack his suitcase. This is what you found: 14 t-shirts, 7 hoodies, and no socks. Why does he need hoodies? It's 103 degrees, and he didn't pack a toothbrush and no pairs of underwear. You've done literally everything, and he had one job. Sports are here. Our calendar is broken into two. Two different kids. I'll take her and he'll go with you. I want you to know that that's not where dishes go. You have to wash them off and then put them in there. Yeah, do you actually think that when they're left in the sink that they will magically go in the washer? And I can still see your cup. It's over there, pick it up. I'm sure you'd make a really excellent mother. Plus the food that you ate used to be on your plate, didn't make it into your mouth when you opened wide. No, it's on the table, on the floor, and I'm not gonna clean it anymore. So much rice, yeah, there's so much rice, and I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away, and now you're upstairs playing Xbox. I will find you, would you come down again? Hard enough.
Listen, baby. Most love songs are about holding each other forever, but baby, I know there's some things that you would prefer over that, right?
Maybe.
I love you.
I'll pick up my shoes like you asked me to. Get them up off the floor, put them outside the door. I'll pick up my shoes and I'll learn to do that every day without you asking me to.
If you could manage that, it would be marriage changing.
I love watching you all during that video, as I saw kids like doing one of these, and then I saw husbands like, oh shoot, no. And the wives just, yeah, thank you. The thing is, we do want to celebrate. We've been talking about celebrating Mother's Day. We've been talking about celebrating women. But there is something about the power of women. There's something about the power you bring that maybe you underestimate. We see it in this reading that we heard from Kirsten just a little bit ago. Maybe you didn't catch it, but I hope you will now. We're in this book of Acts, and in Acts, I think sometimes we also, just to get a little context, to just get us into this book, we might read through Acts and we just see like event after event after event happen in quick succession. We might think that it's all in a really short period of time. The book of Acts covers 32 years of time as you're reading it. And so I wanted to get you a little bit of context of where we are this week. So the first 7 chapters of Acts that we read going into last week covers the first 5 years after Jesus' resurrection and ascension. And then we move into the reading for this week, chapters 8 through 14, and we're covering an additional 13 years of time, up to 18 years after the ascension. After that, next week we'll be reading another 10-year period of time, and after that, another 4-year period of time, all happening from about 30 AD to 62 AD. And we find ourselves right here in chapter 12, about 15 years after Jesus has ascended. And Peter finds himself in prison. He has been arrested, and he is about to be executed for preaching the gospel. He is about to be executed by Herod as soon as Passover ends. And what happens is in the middle of the night, Peter is visited by an angel who releases him from his shackles and leads him out of the prison past all the guards. Now, throughout this entire experience, Peter thinks he's having a vision. He doesn't think this is really happening until he gets outside and the angel leaves him. When the angel leaves him, he realizes it's real and that he is free. And maybe you didn't catch it in the first reading, but the first thing he does is go to the house of Mary, the mother of John Mark. Mary, in her house, has had all of the church come there, and they have been praying for Peter, for his release, for his safety. They have been gathered in her home praying. It is a place that everyone wanted to be. And when Peter is released divinely, the first place he goes is to the house of Mary. Mary is the mother of John Mark, so it's not Mary, mother of Jesus. It's not the other Mary you're thinking about. This is a different Mary. Mary is the mother of John Mark. John Mark is the one who will write the Gospel of Mark. This is Mark's mother. They're staying at her house. And when Peter is released, he knows where he wants to go. He wants to go to Mary's house. And there they celebrate his release. They celebrate what God has done, that their prayers have been answered. Mary is a woman of influence in this church family and is a woman of influence to Peter. It's the first place he goes when he's released, is to go see Mary. Maybe you had those people in your life. Maybe growing up in your neighborhood, there was that house that you wanted to go to. There was that house where it was welcoming, it was safe, it was fun, and everybody just seemed to show up there. That's Mary's house. That's the place Peter goes. There are a lot of women in this church family in my life that I could name who have had a big influence on me, who have done something that just blows me away time and time again. And I wish I could name them all, but we'd be here for a very long time. But I am going to name a few. One, maybe you noticed on the way in, we've got this opportunity for you to get a photo with your family. That is from our admin, Jill Hartquist. Jill, if you have come to any special services that we've had in the last year, every time we've had a photo op out there, Jill's the one who put it together because she cares about you, because she loves you, because she wants you to have a special day. So we are so thankful for all she does. Can we give God praise for Jill? She does an amazing job here at this church. We love her dearly, and we know that she has a big heart for what's going on here. There's a whole lot of other people here that just blow me away. And again, I wish I could name them all, but I'm just going to go with a few here. This picture up here, this is from the 50 plus, and it's just a handful of people from 50 plus. And I'm not going to go through them all, but I will point out just a couple. If you don't know Joyce Gardner, you should. You want to get to know Joyce. Basically, she's the one who has always made sure that we've got the coffee and the donuts and the hot chocolate, things like that. If we have volunteers that aren't able to make it, Joyce is like, call me, I'll come take care of it. If I say to her, she asked me like, how many Easter services are we going to have? I'll say 6. And she says, okay, we're going to be there. And her husband Dave comes along and he'll tell you exactly the same thing I'm telling you. I go where the boss lady tells me to go. And he follows her and her heart for service. Just a little further down the line, we have Judy Stropman. And Judy's one of the coordinators for a 50 plus group. But one of the things she does is when there's care situations here, like we have a funeral, Judy's the one that rounds the troops up and gets everybody together to help serve people in grief. Because she has a heart for that. She has a heart for you. She's shining Christ's light. There's people that are down in our breakfast ministry, like Sherry and Jessica and Jean that you might see down there, and many others, that just want you to feel at home when you come here, to have a good meal, to have time to fellowship together, because they know how important it is. There's people that do things behind the scenes that maybe you don't even realize, like Celeste Richardson here, who, along with her daughter Meredith that she's holding there, comes in and takes care of all the plants in the buildings during the week. Comes in and gets them arranged and watered to make sure that this place looks nice and homey for everyone. There's people, like I would be amiss if I didn't say this, like my mom, who's sitting down right over here, who has been one of the biggest champions for me in my life, who has just poured her love into me, cared for me. I will tell you just one quick story on her is that I know it's maybe hard to believe because I'm up here doing this, but I used to be terrified of public speaking. I didn't want to be in front of anybody. And she's the one that helped me get over that. She's the one that walked me through steps of how to get through that. So that by the time when I was terrified in the 4th grade, by the time I was in the 6th grade, I gave an hour-long book report to my class. You think a sermon's long, right? Try sitting through an hour-long book report. But it was because of her that I could do that, because of what she did to help guide me in that time. And then there's my wife, Joy, love of my life, and the one who I got to see, as my bride, and all the amazing things she could do. And then she became a mom. And to see her take care of these 2 boys over here, to see her pour into them, even when they may not realize all that she's doing for them, even when they may not understand or appreciate it, I know one day they will. I know one day they're going to see it. I know that she loves them so much that she would go to the ends of the earth for them, no matter what it was. And that's the kind of love that we're celebrating here today. It's the love of Christ in all of us. That sacrificial love. That love that influences us, that changes our lives, that transforms us. There's another person that influenced me, and I miss her dearly. This is from our wedding, and this is my wife's grandmother, Betty. That is a deep woman of faith right there. That is someone who it is not uncommon to walk in and find her reading her Bible or praying, because that's not just something she did, it's who she is. It's her heart. And I can't wait to see her again, to tell her that the reason I'm standing up here, part of that's because of her. It's because of what I saw in her. Special lady that influenced me. There's others that weren't related to me that influenced me. And this picture I'm going to show you, maybe you wouldn't think this would be a good influence, but I promise you it is. This is Zelda Curley. She may not look that happy in this picture, but this is a woman of deep faith and joy. And this is a woman who held people to high expectations. She believed that if you set low expectations, people would achieve that. And if you set high expectations, people would rise to the occasion. In my sophomore year, when she was teaching me Algebra 2, I was kind of wandering and I wasn't getting things done like I was supposed to. And she showed up at my house. She rang the doorbell to talk to me and to talk to my parents, to let us know what was going on and what she was concerned about. She didn't have to do that. She could have just let me continue to slip. But she cared enough to come get me back on the right path. At the time, I was so angry. I didn't want her to come do any of that. Man, I love her for it. I love that she cared enough about me to come and to get me back on the right path. There's people in my kids' lives that have this great influence. And one in particular is Miss Neal. Miss Neal is a counselor at my youngest son Camden's elementary school. And Camden and she connected last year as he was going through some things. She's not his counselor, but she has become the person that he goes to. And they have had a lot of different meetings to talk about a lot of different important things. They've played a lot of games together. Camden's still excited. He still is undefeated in Candyland with Miss Neal. But here's the thing about Miss Neal. Here's how I know the influence that she has. Camden recently has gone through experiencing some bullying, even in the 5th grade. And as the principal and everyone came aware of it, and they got on top of the situation, they asked Camden, "What do you need? What can we do for you? How can we help?" And the first thing he said is, "Can I go see Miss Neal? Can I go see her? Because I feel safe with her." Deep influence. You can't see it in this picture. They have one more thing in common. Under that hair, she has a cochlear implant too. She cares deeply about Camden. He cares deeply about her. And she has eternal influence on him. We all have the power to influence the next generation. We're all called to it, to lead with love, to live out of the love that we find in Christ Jesus, to let that pour out into each and every person that we encounter. But I'm not sure if it's just in my own family or people that I've encountered, but I think it's pretty wide. Especially in the women that I've encountered, there's this feeling of less than, this feeling of, I'm just a mom. I'm just a teacher. I'm just a Hope Kids volunteer. I'm just this, I'm just that. Which isn't true. You are not just something. You're everything. We are better because of you. We are better because you are in this world. Because as a child of God, you shine important light into dark places. And it can start in the simplest of places. In fact, a woman of great influence in this world, seen as a mother figure to many, said that the way we change the world, Mother Teresa, if you want to change the world, you go home and you love your family. That's where it starts. That's where it begins. Don't underestimate the power of that. Starting in your own home. Starting with your family and extended family. And then from there, extending out into the neighborhood, extending out into the community, sharing the everlasting love of Jesus Christ. It has eternal influence. We're all called to it. Not just the women. We're all called to be people of influence. You are not just something. You have a major impact. We are celebrating mothers today, and I've got this video I want to show you that it particularly hones in on moms, but I want you to see yourself in this. I want you to see the places where you have an impact in the lives of others, where you show up for those who need you, where you show up and you may think, I'm just saying hi, or I'm just offering a smile, I'm just handing out a donut, right? But in that, you're offering so much more. You're changing lives, and people are going to remember it. Take a look.
Você tá bem. Esqueci.
E aí, gatinha? Tu tá indo pra onde? Tu tá indo pra onde?
大赛马上要临近了，
不受得了。
儿子，你行的啊，你可以的，孩子。
Don't underestimate your influence. Don't underestimate how the little things that you do has such a big impact on the lives of everyone you come in contact with. So my call to the women of this church is simply this. Be a mom, be a grandmother, an aunt, a friend, a neighbor, an employee, a volunteer, and a leader of eternal influence. It starts in your home. It starts wherever you find yourself. Because you are first and foremost a child of God. You are one who shines the light of Christ everywhere you go. And that influences everyone eternally. Not just today, not just tomorrow, but for all eternity. Because when they see you, and they see your love, and they see your light, they see Jesus. It changes everything. Thank you for all you do. Never doubt yourself. Never lessen yourself. Because you are way more. And God is not done with you yet. Amen? Let's stand and sing.